They're trying to put us into famine because pandemic, famine, and war, they go together like the triangle of death. And if you get a big war, you always get famine and you always get pandemic. If you get a big a big one. If you get a big pandemic, a very serious one, you'll always get famine and war, right? They just go together like the triangle of death. So I was talking about this in this interview, and a reader, she called up, she was kind, and she's like, you talk about this as if you made it up. And I said, I did. She said, no, it's in the Bible, the 4 horsemen.
Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just me saying it, but I'm not here to try to scare you today. The average American family has, I would say, between 3 and about 5 days of food in their house. And believe it or not, if you live in New York City, there's only enough food in all of New York City to last about 9 days. So if something happens where you can't get any food in, you have about 9 days of food left throughout the entire city. But I digress. So what I mean about stacking properly is putting away food more so than what you would normally have stored away. That way you can add time to your food supply in case the availability of food in your area goes away. For whatever reason, doesn't matter what the reason is. It could be because of the EBT apocalypse, let's call it that. It could be because you lost your job and you have a few extra months worth of food. Now, how much you put away depends on you. But at least put away a month's worth of food. Well, today I'm going to show you that even if you want to be a lazy prepper, someone that doesn't want to rotate your food, you just want to get under your bed and put in a year's supply of canned goods down there, which a queen-size bed will fit about a year's supply of food for a person. So if that's what you want to do, you want to go to the supermarket, you want to stock up on a year's supply of whatever it is that you eat, or 2 or 3 months supply, whatever it may be, and you can forget about it for the next 5 to 10 years, unless the apocalypse comes first. So what we're going to do on this video is I'm going to show you several things that I've put away for years. And like I said, I think one of them's at least 10 years old, and I am going to open them. I am going to try it in front of you to prove to you that these things will last a lot longer than the best by date that's labeled on the can. As I previously stated, everything here is years past the expiration date. What we're going to do now is I'm going to show you everything that I have, including some freeze-dried foods. This is a Neapolitan ice cream from Mountain House, and I'm going to try just a little bit and give the rest to Lulu as a treat. But this guy here, take a look. It was produced in 2013 on the 201st calendar day of that year. So we'll put this to the side. Before we get to the cans, let me just give you a couple of recommendations. If you're past the level of preparedness where you've put away the things that you normally eat, freeze-dried foods are a great way to put food away. That way you don't have to bother with cooking. All you have to worry about is heating up water and then having a container where you can let it rest. You know, I just realized I haven't shouted out Nutrient Survival since I got back doing YouTube about a couple of weeks ago. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Nutrient Survival, in my opinion, is the very best freeze-dried food in the market. Why? Not only does it provide you with the nutrition from the macronutrients, meaning calories, meaning fat, carbohydrates, protein, but it provides you with all of the nutrients that you need to keep you thriving, really, instead of just surviving. So if you haven't checked Nutrient Survival out, go check them out because their food is excellent. And this just happens to be one of their very first pouches. This was a trial pouch that I kept from their triple mac and cheese, or their triple cheese mac, which is one of my favorites. And you have many options. As you can see here, this is a Mountain House. Let's see, rice and chicken, which was produced in 2024, which means that this thing's going to be good till at least 2054, as long as you don't keep it in a hot yoga studio. Keep all of your foods, including your freeze-dried foods, ladies and gentlemen, in a temperature-controlled room. I would say as long as it's below 70 degrees in there, you're going to be good to go long-term. Another thing that I like to mention is one of my favorite foods to put away, pasta. Why? Because it is very calorically dense, meaning that you don't really need a lot in order to get some of the calories that you need for the day. And these calories are like maintenance calories, which means that if you cook a little bit of protein, enough for the day, you can have a lot of pasta on the cheap. It'll fill you up and it'll keep you energized to do all of those things that you need to do to survive. This pasta right here I've had for years, and as you can see, there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. This is probably going to go to Victor because I can't really eat this stuff. However, I wanted to show you that as long as you keep it sealed, even if it's within its own container, that it will last a very long time. So when I say that you can be a lazy prepper if you want, you really can. You can buy this, put it away. This is at least 4 or 5 years old. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't have a problem feeding this to anyone. And one of the most important things in the world is coffee. At least to me it is. And ladies and gentlemen, I told you guys about this once, that the best way that I feel that you can put away coffee besides freeze-dried coffee, which I feel is the very best way because it'll last a very, very long time, I'm talking about decades, is getting coffee that is packaged in this like Mylar vacuum seal package. Now this one right here says July 21. Let's go ahead and verify. And I hope you can see that right there. But it says best if used by July 15th of 2021. I opened a package of this not too long ago, maybe 2 or 3 days ago. Same date. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. As long as you keep this sealed and as long as you properly store it in a temperature controlled room where it doesn't get too hot, this is really going to last you years and years and years. So July 21, this has already been past its best buy date by a little over 4 years, and it was probably processed about a year prior. Actually, right here, 2020. And before I forget, if you're going to get canned goods, make sure that you get a can opener or two. Now, one of the things that I'm going to talk about today is not a canned good, but I just wanted to show you that extra virgin olive oil, okay, a good quality olive oil. And only because this is a Walmart brand doesn't mean that this is not a good quality oil. Let's take a look at the back. I'm not sure if you're able to see that because it was kind of like etched in there, but it says best buy use date is July 27th of 2022. I'm very confident that there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. But if you take a look at the ingredients, it's just extra virgin olive oil. And it is from one place, right? This is from Portugal. Some olive oils they collect from different countries and then they mix them together. And they may be extra virgin olive oil, but it's from different destinations. And that may play on the quality of the oil. So what we're going to do with this today is we're going to go ahead and open it. I'm going to smell it to make sure it's not rancid. And then I'm just going to taste it and let you know how it tastes. But I'm very confident that there is absolutely nothing wrong with this, because this has been stored in a temperature controlled room that stays pretty cool all year round. Another thing that people are afraid of putting away for long term is peanut butter. Now this peanut butter here, although it's not the best, this peanut butter is 4 years past its best buy date. As you can see here, the best buy date on this is April 28th of 2021. And as you can see, we've been using it, right? This is one of my grandson's favorite peanut butter, and whenever he's hanging out here with me, every once in a while he'll say peanut butter, and I'll be like, oh, you want a scoop of peanut butter? He just eats it off the spoon. And I've had this too. His dad has added as well to make sure that it was good. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. The key to peanut butter, in my opinion and in my personal experience, is that lid has got to be sealed, okay? You see how this is sealed and how it's like concaved? It's not puffing out. That means there's no bacteria growth in there. However, before we do try this one, we're also going to give it a sniff test. Take a look at it, make sure that it looks fine. And you can see here that this one, the best buy date was a little over 2 years ago. It was 2023, July of 2023. And I can tell you from personal experience that I've never had a jar of peanut butter that I opened years after the best buy date that was not good. I had one where the lid or the seal was not on, and that one was no good. It had gone rancid. Now, I would say that this is the raunchiest looking can that we have here. We can see that there's a little tiny specks of rust on here. However, I can tell that it's still good because it's not puffed. It's not puffed out. It still has its seal. So if you go like this and it doesn't pop and it doesn't do that popping sound, you know that its seal is still intact. These are yams. And let's see what the best buy date on this is, if we can show it on camera. Ladies and gentlemen, the best buy date on this was September of 2017. This is 8 years past its best buy date. So we can say with certainty that it's been at least 9 years since this was packaged. Meat in a can will last pretty much indefinite, and that's according to the USDA, as long as you follow the same rules that I talked about with this yam. Now this one's pretty new. The best by date on this one was January of 2024. Now this is what I'm talking about here. This is what I eat most of the time. It's beef in various forms. This is the beef that Costco used to sell. Unfortunately, they're not selling it anymore, at least not at the Costco that I go to. But here, this one's kind of hard to read as far as what month, but I believe it's September 23rd of 2021 is the best by date on this can. So we're well over 4 years past the best by date. One of my favorite things in the world, which is corned beef hash, has a best by date of June of 2023. Green beans. I love green beans. Everything looks good with the can as well. And this one has a best by date of 2022 November. So we're roughly 3 years past the best by date. Believe it or not, if you have the appropriate spices, you can definitely make a decent spaghetti sauce or marinara sauce with tomato paste. And this one here, this is, I believe this is, yeah, Kirkland brand. And the best by date on this one is May of 2022. We're getting down to our last two items. Garbanzo beans are great, or chickpeas. I think these are the same as chickpeas, right? Garbanzo beans, these are great because they're usually pretty good on protein. So this one can has 3.5 servings, has 6 grams of protein per serving, has a really good amount of fiber, 19 grams of carbohydrates, which this is pretty diabetic friendly with the amount of fiber that it has. So one of these cans, you're looking at about 21 grams of protein alone. And the best by date on this one is December of 2020. So this one here is approaching its 5th year past the best by date. And ladies and gentlemen, the best meat in the world. I know that Angry Prepper loves Spam, so I saved this one for last. And for good reason also. Take a look at this. The best by date on this was 2019. And from looking at the code here, it looks to me, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, it looks to me like it was processed on the 266th day of 2014. And if you take a look at a new can of Spam, you would see that I believe that the best by date is usually pushed out about 4 or 5 years. So to me, it tells me that this can of Spam is about 10 years old from the day of processing. Before we go on to our taste test, I wanted to show you a few other things that I'm not going to open, but that I know last pretty much forever. Coconut oil is very good for almost anything that you would use oil for, especially for frying. And coconut oil will pretty much last indefinitely, ladies and gentlemen, as long as you properly store it. You can see this one right here has a best by date of 2023. And if you all remember when I did the payday prep, putting away these coconut oils, they were about $12 a piece. Now they're selling for about $21 a piece. Polenta, grits, rice, beans, any kind of dry legumes, if you leave it in their original containers, they will last years, as long as you properly store it. Sugar, molasses, as long as it's sealed, is going to last pretty much indefinitely. And something that a lot of people don't know is that you can take regular white granulated sugar, mix in a tablespoon of molasses for 1 cup of sugar, and it makes brown sugar. That's actually how they make it at the factory. So there's a lot of other things that you can get that you don't have to necessarily prep to put away for long term, meaning anywhere between 5 to 10 years. As you can see, I went ahead and labeled all of the cans and containers with the best by date. All right, a lot of people call it expiration date, but it's not, because this is not expired. That way, when I taste it in front of you and show you the texture and everything, I don't have to keep switching my camera around because I'm a one-man show. All right, so let's get started. All right, so here's our chicken. I already know that this is good because I actually had a can of this chicken here, I don't know, maybe less than a week ago. But I'm hoping here that you can see the texture of it. See that? I had to take some of the juice out so I wouldn't make a mess. But here's the texture. Everything looks good. Let's give it a try. That's actually really good. Best buy date 2024. Not bad at all. And here are the green beans. And I love green beans, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see in there, they look normal. They're not squishy or anything like that. Let me grab a couple of them. As you can see, they look just fine. Really good texture. Very good texture. And look at this. 3 years past the best buy date. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. This is the best way to be a lazy prepper if you'd like. You can just get stuff, put it under your bed, and leave it there for a rainy day. But I still recommend that you rotate through your stock. Now, I'm not a very big fan of garbanzo beans like on their own. Usually if I eat them, I have them mixed in like in a stew or something like that. But you can take a look in there. They look normal. They smell kind of bland, really. They don't really smell like anything. But here it is right there. Let's give it a try. What impresses me the most, ladies and gentlemen, besides that it's still good to eat, is that even 5 years after the best buy date, just like the green beans and just like the chicken, the texture is there. So it's not something that you're going to have to hold your nose when you eat it or just try to swallow it down. It's actually really good. It's got great texture. Now, this is definitely one of my favorite things to eat. I don't eat it very often because the potatoes in it, not good for me. But take a look. And that actually looks pretty good. Some of you are going to be like, oh, that's nasty. But no, that's what it's supposed to look like. Because the white, besides the white in the potato, the other whitish looking stuff around the corned beef, that's the fat, right? So that's what it's supposed to look like. And all of these things that I'm trying without heating them up. Ideally, you would want to heat up your foods, especially if they're 2 or 3 years or 5 years or 6 years past their best buy date, to make sure that if there is a chance at all of any bacteria being in there, that you can cook it off, right? So let's see. That's what this looks like right here, and it's supposed to be like this. This is what it's supposed to look like. Let's give it a try. Just like corned beef hash is supposed to taste. Excellent. Only thing it needs is to get heated up really good and then put a little bit of ketchup on top of it. That'll make it even better. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, our roast beef from Costco in a can. This is one of my favorites because the quality is really good. And this one is what, 2021? Oh, look at that. I'm taking it off. 2021 is the best buy date. And as you can see, these are nice big chunks in here. If I only had one thing to complain about this, is that it doesn't have enough fat. But let's go in there. Let's grab a piece. Take a look at that. I mean, the texture as well. Just by me putting my fork in there, I can tell that it's got good texture. It still has a really good chew to it. The texture is fine. The taste is just fine. Again, I only wish that it had a little more fat in it, but you can't complain. And if you don't remember this, when I bought these things when they were available was several years ago, and the price was nothing like what it would be today. This is what? How many ounces? This is 12 ounces of beef. Right now, if you go buy a pound of beef, the cheapest beef there is, you're looking at what, about $6, $5.50, $6? I guarantee you, I paid a lot less than $5 for a can when I purchased this 5-6 years ago. The best meat in the world, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to call it that. All right, I'm saving my favorite meat for last, Spam. Best buy date 2019. I'm guessing that this was produced or packaged around 2015, 2014. All right, so this thing here is roughly about 10 years old. And look, it looks just fine. I already know this is good. I can smell it. It smells like it's supposed to smell. It looks like it's supposed to look, although not very appetizing to some people that don't like Spam. I just happen to really like it. And look at that. The texture is just fine. It feels just like it's supposed to feel. And it smells like Spam. Let's give it a try. This is definitely not going to Lulu. I'll probably feed her the chicken, all right? Mix it in there with her food for dinner tonight, but not this. This is going to be eaten with eggs. And our peanut butter, you saw me open it. This smells just fine. Man, it almost smells really too good, right? It's like you would expect that this wouldn't smell that good after being past the best by date for more than 2 years. But man, it smells great. The texture is fine. You can see the fat hasn't separated or anything like that. And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I no longer eat peanut butter with added sugar. So this right here, man, that was an explosion of flavor in my mouth, because this does have sugar in it. It has 2 grams of added sugar. Just that 2 grams of added sugar that I'm not used to. Oh my goodness, it's so good. But this right here will be consumed by Michael and by Lulu whenever I give her some treats with peanut butter on it. Now, this is something that I'm not very excited to try, but I told you I'd try everything, all right? This is our tomato paste 2022, so 3 years past. It smells just like tomato paste is supposed to smell. Let's give it a try. I'm not taking a lot of this because I mean, it's tomato paste, but it looks fine. Let's see. Man, it's just concentrated tomato taste, ladies and gentlemen, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. And like I told you before, this little can right here can probably accompany a pound of pasta. If you take this, add some water to it, add a little bit of salt, all right? Add some Italian seasoning to it. Hey, you're good to go. That's a meal right there. This and a pound of pasta. And I know this is the one that you've been waiting for. This is like one of our oldest ones. 2017 was the best buy date, which leads me to think that probably around 2015 or 2013 is probably when they packaged this. And these are our sweet jams, right? I did drain out some of the syrup because, like I said, I don't want to make a mess. But it looks good to me. Let's see. It smells pretty good. And ladies and gentlemen, I love jams. So hopefully this is good because I have more of these put away. Oh, just kidding. This is really good. What is this? Oh, this has way too many carbs for me. 20 grams of sugar. There's no way that I can eat this. This is definitely going to get diced up and be given to Lulu. But let me go ahead and give it another try just to confirm, all right? Because I love jams. And look, there's nothing wrong with this. What is that? 8 years. 8 years past the best buy date. And all I did was put it in an area or store it in an area that's temperature controlled. If you can keep your stuff below 70 degrees, the lower the better, as long as it's, I would say, above 40 degrees and no more than 70, in between that range, your food is going to last you a really long time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, one more thing to try. That's going to be dessert, but in all honesty, this right here could be dessert. This is delicious. This is the Mountain House freeze-dried Neapolitan. And let's see, this is going to make a mess. And for those of you that have never tried these before, they're always like broken up. See that? Because it's freeze-dried, so it's very dry. But this is like a dessert. And let me see. Here's a piece of the vanilla. Vanilla is actually my favorite whenever I eat ice cream. So here's a piece of the vanilla. I mean, it feels fine. Oh, you know what? It might smell a little aged. It smells a little chalky, but I think that's what it's supposed to smell like because, like I said, it's freeze-dried, pretty much milk and sugar. We're going to give it a try anyways. Hopefully you'll see me make a video this coming week. And I do believe that these have like a 10-year shelf life and not a 30 like the others. I would say that passes for good. All right, that passes for good. Let's take a gander at the chocolate. I'm not trying to be overly optimistic about this. I'm trying to be as fair as possible as to how it tastes. And the fact of the matter is that it tastes fine. It's just that I don't eat these every day. I don't eat them even every year. So I'm not really sure what a fresh one tastes like. But it tastes fine. It does have a little bit of a chalky consistency. But that's to be noted because it is freeze-dried, like I said before. Here's the strawberry. The strawberry is definitely the best one out of the three, even better than the vanilla. Really good. Very, very good. And I almost forgot about our extra virgin olive oil. I mean, you all saw me open it, but I never took a sniff at it to see if it smelled rancid. No, ladies and gentlemen, this smells just fine. Let me get a spoon and I'll give it a try as well. All right, let's see. I'm just going to take a little bit to try it, but it smells just fine. It smells like extra virgin olive oil is supposed to smell like. See that? It's got a really nice deep green color too. Not sure if you see that or not. I hope you do. All right, look at that. Let's give it a try. That's actually pretty darn good. That's really good olive oil for being the Walmart brand. I can only imagine how much this one costs today, because I do believe that when I got this, it was probably like maybe $3 or $4. 2022 Best Buy date. Nothing wrong with it at all. There's no trace of this being rancid at all, and it smells fine. And obviously it did pass the taste test. So good to go on the olive oil. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and call it at that. I'm showing you everything that I have and showing you that it's lasted the test of time well past the Best Buy date. Just follow a few simple rules. Do some research. Get on the USDA site and take a look at what they say about canned foods and packaged foods, even home canned foods, as far as how long they last, what to look for to make sure that they're safe for you to eat, and how to store it. What I've done over the years is I make sure that I store everything in a temperature control room. I know I've said that now probably about 4 or 5 times, but that is one of the most important things, I think, that goes into putting away food that's going to last you a long time. Having said that, I hope that you got something out of this. I hope that you're getting prepared, and I hope that if you are prepared, that you're continuing to prepare. And if you're not prepped, ladies and gentlemen, it's as easy as I've just shown you on this video. God bless every one of you. I love you all. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.